Alright, what's going on, guys? I'm here to talk about some double sleeving options for Yu-Gi-Oh! So double sleeving, has been legal for Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards for like some time now. I think it's almost like a year now or something, maybe coming up on that. But anyways, so a lot of people, when they see like maybe like my deck or deck profile somewhere on some person's channel or something, they usually ask what cards I use for sleeving. So, uh, so just for one thing, I'll say is I wish that Konami would allow sleeving of the same direction. I hate sleeving opposite directions because it causes like air gaps in the card, and then the cards are like super like floaty. So this is like sleeve the same direction. So as you can see like the top, they're both sleeved the same direction. So just for example, like I usually like to use like these like fancy sleeves, and that's why I like double sleeving because it protects the card. But then also you get to use cool sleeves like these, and they like Konami makes like really cool design sleeves, but they suck for shuffling. They get beat up really fast. And I know like at like YCS Top Cuts they make you use their sleeves. Or sorry, I think it's just for Nats, Top Cuts and whatnot. And they make in Worlds, they make you use their sleeves, and they just like crinkle and break really fast. So a couple options. What I mainly use for oversleeving is I use Dragon Shield clear matted standard size. So these are magic size sleeves, but they fit really snugly over a Yu-Gi-Oh size sleeve, and and they fit pretty nice. And honestly, like, and this is like I've had these like I have a few of them here. I've started to re-sleeve this deck, and so it's just mainly just my side deck left over for Sky Striker. But I mean, these are like they're getting kind of dirty, and I think if I sleeved opposite directions, maybe the dirt wouldn't build up as fast. But you can still kind of see some dirt. But some of the dirt is like it's actually on the oversleeve and not as much on like on the undersleeve. It's kind of hard to see, but I have a pretty good camera, but it's not like amazing. But then you can still see like there's still like still see like some of it on there. But I don't know. I feel like if I sleeved opposite directions, these would last much longer. Give it a chance to focus. I don't know. Guess it doesn't want to work with me. There we go. So you can still kind of see some. Oh, there we go. It goes away again. So it's always like adjusting. It's kind of interesting. So anyways, so yeah, usually, I mean, they fit pretty snug in each other. Pretty nice. So that's what I suggest is Dragon Shield matted clear. You can do non-matted, but honestly, like, so these, they have glossy front. This is all slippery, but then the texture is on the backside. It doesn't really cover the ardor at all, but it also makes it so that like your deck, like, I mean, it stands firm, and it's not going to just like fall over on you, but it's still like fairly slicky. And again, like these are like oversleeves are like probably like 3 months old, so they've gotten a lot of games in and a lot of events, and they're still like really good. So Dragon Shield definitely solid in this department. Um, and then some other, so that was like that's what I would suggest for oversleeving. I'm just wearing gloves to protect the sleeves because when you like go to sleeve, like the undersleeves, like when you like as you're like sleeving cards and you're putting them in, your thumbprint will like leave like oil on it. So I usually try to avoid that by wearing gloves, and I just wear just like um, some like disposable nitrate gloves. They're make sure they're powder free too. You don't want to have powder on these. That will make things worse. So another option is for undersleeving, or sorry, or I guess I should say undersleeving, or inner sleeve. Sorry, inner sleeving. So another option is like these. So these are perfect KMCs. I have like a whole bunch of these. I thought they'd be really crazy good. They don't quite live up to the potential I like, but they're alright. So here's it on one card. I just grabbed a random card and put one on. I mean, it fits. It covers the card all completely and stuff, and you can do like they're not like impossible to get back off and on. I just kind of have to like wiggle them off. That's what you usually do with most sleeves, so that I'm not like forcing the card out or like bending it at the top. And you can go like upside down or not. So I think I've tried both ways, and honestly, like I think the best way is to probably do this upside down and then do the other sleeve like the normal way, because that way you don't have like the opening of the sleeve at the bottom, which is just like not what anyone's used to. Otherwise you gotta put like your deck up on the sleeve. And this is just another Dragon Shield dual matted sleeve for Japanese size, and they do fit very comfortably inside there, so not a problem with that. Again, sometimes like it can get a little airtight, but I mean this one like is alright. Sometimes you just kind of have to squeeze around and push the air out. And this one seems like it's sitting okay, but sometimes I don't like is the sleeve will kind of start to creep up and start to push out. and so then you have to keep redoing it. So it's kind of like really annoying. But so that's one thing I didn't like about these is like the inner sleeves were like they're really short, and so it's very easy for them to creep up at either end and then just leave part of the sleeve or side of the card exposed, which is not like a huge deal because it's still achieving the same thing. Like the card is sealed, like no dust or anything is getting on the card, and that's pretty much. And then the goal thing is like with inner sleeves is usually you don't have to change the inner sleeves, you only have to change the oversleeves. That's the goal of the thing. And it saves you some money on sleeves and double protects your cards, and they still look, you know, just fine. So that's that option. KMCs, they're pretty cheap. I find them on like eBay or some stores will carry them and whatnot. They come in a pack of 100. They're not too expensive. I think they're like retail is like $4 or $5 a pack. So not horrible. I have a whole bunch of them again, like, and they're not super bad. And they, like I said, fits pretty well. Another one I have is the these are like, so they're like supposed to like, they're called the Dragon Shield Perfect Fits inner sleeves. So it's like specifically made for Dragon Shields, and these specific ones they have like a little flap. So I have one in here, and man, these things were a pain as heck to get on. So like I don't even know how I'm gonna get this back out of it. So I just used a cheap card. So like as you can see, there's like a little flap that kind of tucks in behind the card. So I can kind of pull the card back out again and show you the sleeve. Because I was not too thrilled with how much work goes into sleeving these things just to have like, yeah, I don't even know if I can get this card out of the sleeve. Okay, there we go. Like I said, the little wiggle is usually the good test. So I can kind of get it, and you see there's this flap that kind of like tucks in behind it. And so it's like, I don't know if you're supposed to put it like this way facing the flap or against the flap. Either way the card has, I think you want the flap on the back side of the card, so I do it facing the flap. And then you can kind of like wrap this around and then tuck it in behind the card, but still in the sleeve. And man, I was doing this earlier and this was not easy. It's going a little bit easier this time. And then just kind of, I don't know, push it in there freaking somehow without breaking the sleeve. These were, again, like, just too much work. I wouldn't recommend these. But, I mean, the idea is cool, because you're basically taking an inner sleeve that completely seals the card. Yeah, it already ripped. It already ripped right up here. So, I wouldn't recommend these. Like, the idea was cool, but it's just way too freaking hard to deal with. So, these are an option if you have small fingers, and maybe it's perfect for you. But I would just stick to these KMC mini sleeves. Probably a little bit cheaper, and honestly, like, just way easier to use. And they seem fine. They're like, these are, so I like these more than the Ultra Pro penny sleeves. So some you can use the penny sleeves for Ultra Pro as inner sleeves, but those things are like legit, like, there's nothing to them. They're so flimsy and thin. These ones, I mean, they're still pretty thin, but there's something to them, you know, a little more durability. So they're not as like, they're giving some like protection to your card, you know. So, and they are, you know, very clear, obviously, so you can still see the card just fine. And then one thing I also noticed, and I don't know if this is because I sleeve the same direction, is because the cards, you know, get dirty on these sides, I find myself having to replace these sleeves, which these are not necessarily cheap. These can be like, they're supposed to be around like 15 to 20 bucks when they come out. But Konami only does so many runs of these ones, and then they make new ones with new designs. So if you want like a same design sleeve, then you gotta like pay extra bucks to get, you know, the last remaining few. So like this was one I really like. I used a bunch of these on like all my decks, and I got them for like, you know, like these were probably, I got them from like Singapore on eBay for like 22 bucks a pack of like 60 or 70 or something. And these were like really nice, but man, the way I had them sleeved both directions, like you can see the kind of I don't know, it's kind of like almost like dirt bubbles or something. I don't even know. I don't know if it's from like the card or from just like dust getting in and then just getting like pushed against the sleeve, like. But I mean, the backside still looks freaking amazing. So I mean, like, I'm gonna put a card in it and like use Ghost Bug because she's a very pretty card, and you can still like, I mean, it still looks really freaking nice. And honestly, it's like you don't really notice the crud spots. And I tried cleaning them with like water and whatnot, and it didn't seem to work very well because I think it almost might be on the inside. And yeah, but I mean, it still feels pretty nice. And you can go like reverse directions with these, like no problem. And there might be a little air that you have to push out, and that'll be pretty good. You might want to do like the opposite directions. I don't know, I found when I do, it's really weird. So when I do these upside down, like the inner sleeves upside down, that's when the air gets like stuck in there so easily when you go to put it in the other sleeve. So it's like this already has like some air in it, and you can try to like push it out and be careful with it. And then you can try to put this in, but then air is going to be like freaking, yeah, it's going to be pretty airy. And it's like not a good way to push it out because it's like under 2 sleeves and it's sealed. So sometimes like you got to be like very careful when you do these to like make sure there's not a bunch of air, because it's not really a good way to push them out because the card is sealed and the air is usually stuck on the inside. So that's pretty annoying, and that makes your deck like stack super high. Another thing I always wondered about if I do double sleeving is if like these corners will get bent super easily, because now they're like the corners aren't lined up with the other sleeve, and so I know with the inner sleeves that's never really a problem because the inner sleeves are so small and they barely go around the corners. Where these ones, they're not necessarily made for double sleeving over each other because they're 2 different sizes, but standard feels pretty. I mean, it fits pretty well. There's not too much room on the I would say like the difference between the sleeves. So it's like there's there's still some room in here, but like it's not like the card's gonna like go back and forth. It's not like that or anything like that. I know if you put like just a normal like Japanese sleeve, or sorry, Japanese like Yu-Gi-Oh card into like a standard size sleeve, there's gonna be so much like wiggle room. But like with it being inside a Yu-Gi-Oh sleeve as well, not a problem. And I use these all the time, and I know a lot of friends have asked me. So these are I get them for about like $12 from my local store. And I don't know, I think I'm just like really like them. Like I said, they're like really nice on the front, so the card pops out, and you still get that nice textured arc on the back. So I mean, I like matted backsides because it's just nice for like gripping, and also again, so your deck doesn't just like slide over the place on you. So I definitely want to use these sleeves again, even though if it is a little bit cruddy, and then maybe see if I can use like a new one of these, and it won't look as bad, because these are, like I said, they've been used for 3 months, and like there's not even like most of these like the corners don't really like get super bent. So like I don't know, man, Dragon Shield, I don't know what they do, and I shuffle pretty vigorously sometimes. So, but I just want to see like what it would look like with a fresh one. So hey, usually I'm always stocking up on these things. Like I didn't get into double sleeving until I started playing Cardfight Vanguard, and Cardfight Vanguard was like notorious for having like like super fancy, nice looking sleeves that you can put like kind of the same idea as these, same price, but they just look super cool. And then you put your cards in there and they match your deck, and sweet stuff. So we'll put a fresh sleeve on this, and these are like super smooth, and like I think that looks a little bit better. We can do a little side by side. Yeah. So I don't know. It looks slightly better. I can kind of see, but you can also still, at least from my angle, I can still see inside and still see the crud on the inner sleeve that's been there. But like again, like these are from like 2 or 3 years ago now, and at least 2. I got them in 2020, so it might have been for 2020. It could be for 2020. There that goes. So these ones are like a lot harder to find, and if you do, they're like over $30 now. So it's like, I don't know, I just really like the design. Like that's so much going on there, and it's so cool. And these ones are like the more recent ones, and so I mean it's still nice, but like the design is so basic compared to these. And I'm sure Konami will do more like cool sleeves like these. And these come in like red, green, blue, and black. And I have black ones and blue ones, but I don't have any fresh blue ones anymore. Only some fresh black ones that are like I don't even have enough to sleeve a deck with. So kind of stinks. So usually when I get these, I get a bunch of them. Yeah, we'll put this back away for now, because I am going to re-sleeve this deck, and I probably want to use these sleeves again just because. Also, it's kind of cool when I use all my decks are in the same same sleeves. My friends, at least my locals, they'll never know what the heck I'm playing, because all my decks are sleeved in the same like sleeves and extra deck and all that. So like, and for extra deck, I do use these are the KMC like I don't know, like sword symbol sleeves, and they look super cool. And they fit pretty well, and you can go backwards, reverse. The only thing I don't like about them is since they're not very like matted or anything, man, these things get dirty and yucky and sticky fairly quickly. I don't know, a lot quicker than the Dragon Shields, that's for sure. But you can do these upside down or upside down, they'll still fit just fine. It's the same design, either upside down or not. And it just and then I have these design sleeves. These are like really older ones. These are from like maybe like 19 or 18, maybe 19. Yeah, I think 2019. These ones were, a lot of people were on the crate of this design. They came in blue, black, red, and green. So pretty cool. I don't know, I just want to talk a little about double sleeving for you guys. So I mean, that's my recommendation. I know with the current policy, Konami only allows sleeving of opposite directions, which again I showed you kind of sucks balls. It's just like, I kind of hope they change that rule. I'm not sure why they decided like, okay, we'll have you allow double sleeving, but they have to be the same direction. Like I wasn't sure what was the reasoning on that. like maybe they thought people would still be able to cheat if they're like the same direction. I could like stick another card in here and then like change them around. I don't freaking know. The reason that we could never double sleeve in the first place like predates like anything I know about. Like I don't know why I was ever that way, but like I mean I like being able to like protect my cards, and I also like being able to use like nicer looking cards. So I mean, if I feel if I go to like a regional, like I'll probably try to like reverse sleeve these ones and then just roll with it and see how it works out. And if like the inner sleeves get destroyed because of it, then so be it. That's just one pack. But the other option is to do the inner sleeves with the like Dragon Shield over normal sleeves, and those would be like fine. I've done that before. I've gone to locals with that. I've done played events in that, and like not a problem. Sometimes there'll be some like air issues, and the deck will be like kind of fluffy, but at least the cards are fully protected. What would be another thing to say? Another option is obviously just sticking to single sleeves. Or I know some friends they'll double sleeve the extra because they like these kind of sleeves, but they don't want to put them all over their main deck too. I've seen some people put all their main, extra side, tokens, everything, but some people they'll have the fancy sleeves for the extra deck, but then just use like, normal single sleeves for the main deck, and that's totally a cool option too. I don't know, I feel like, for me at least, I have fairly big hands, and I feel like going back to like trying single sleeving is like so weird. Like, I don't know if I could go back to it. Like, I don't play any card game single sleeved except for like Dragon Ball Super, and the cards are already bigger, and I tried double sleeving Dragon Ball Super cards, and it was just like almost the cards are just too big, and then the sleeves make them like even bigger, and it's like not something I'm used to. And then I couldn't like find deck boxes that fit those comfortably because the over sleeves for standard are just like huge. So yeah, I just wanted to make a video on this for people who are curious about what I used and what are some options out there. So again, like just a quick review, like the KMC inner sleeves. I don't have the Penny Ultra Pro sleeves, but I wouldn't recommend those anyways. Those are pretty cheap. And then these ones, like I think they have normal perfect fit sleeves without like the flap, and those might be better. I was pretty excited for these because I really like Dragon Shield over sleeves and normal sleeves, and I really like their matted and their art sleeves and like the matted arts and like all that stuff. But these ones were a bust. Definitely for sure. Learned that one the hard way. And then these ones, I don't know, I've been using these for like at least through like Cardfight Vanguard for like several years, and now for Yu-Gi-Oh for a couple, or almost a couple years. Time flies. Because I mean, I think once COVID hit, I started double sleeving my decks anyways, because I was never going to like real events anyways. So it's like, if I'm not going to a sanctioned event, it doesn't really matter. I'd rather just be able to, style on my friends with these cool looking sleeves. But yeah, I kind of wish there was a way to like keep the inner sleeves like from getting all gross, and I don't know if like sleeving the opposite direction will fix that. Because I mean, again, I do have more like I have more of these just chilling that I could try testing that with, and that might keep dust from getting in there. So that's something I'll try and maybe do a little update on. Because again, they're not like the cheapest. Well, I mean, they're fairly cheap at first, but I mean, for sleeves, people only want to pay so much. But you also want to have good quality sleeves that last forever. So I mean, like for these, like lasting me 3 months, and maybe even more if I want to. Like the decks still like these still like shuffle fine, and like they don't get stuck or anything. I don't like slide or just like getting super stuck. And this is just side deck mostly. So I mean, these ones aren't even used as much as the main deck, but they're still, I mean, pretty new. But yeah, I don't know, pretty cool stuff. Just thought I'd throw some stuff out there. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave a comment, or any recommendations for other ones. But these are basically the ones I've tried. Again, this is like fairly new in like Yu-Gi-Oh's history, and so hopefully they will change the policy on sleeving in the same direction. I mean, I've even played remote duels with these like exact sleeves, and I mean from like a distance, nobody knows if these are like sleeved opposite directions. So, not saying it's like cheating per se or anything like that, nothing like that. But I mean, like it's just like I don't want to have to rearrange all my sleeves just to be in par with the policy on that like one small thing. But like I know like when I played in the remote YCS and like in the summer, I made sure to just play single sleeves because I didn't want to like bother with the issue. But when I did like a remote regional, I just did this and it wasn't a problem. But if someone called me out, then I would gladly fix it. So it's just like being in a small infraction. Yeah, that's all I got about it. I'm gonna probably end the video here. Again, if you guys have any questions, let me know. And again, like I said, I use these gloves to kind of help protect the cards and the sleeves from getting like oil smears all over them. Because I do have older ones of like these where I did sleeve them without gloves on, and you can see like just like the smear of my thumb, like shoving them into the sleeve and stuff. And so that's that. All right. Well, thanks for watching if you do, and be sure to not subscribe, not like, not do anything on my channel because I only do this mostly for myself. But I figured I'd put this out. This is more different from what I usually do. This is more informational. I always have people asking me again, so I figured I'd just make a video on it. And I probably ranted on long enough about this. But thanks, guys. See ya.